Coming up on News 2, several former candidates in both election districts are calling for a recount, not because they lost, but because they say there are major issues that have been ignored, including lawbreaking. And police say a St. Croix woman was struck by gunfire in both legs by a suspect after she refused to hand over her car keys. Plus, a St. Croix princess has been crowned, highlights of the show, and a schedule of events lined up for the St. Croix Festival. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Singh. Top in this newscast, several former candidates in both election districts are calling for a recount, and not because they lost, but because they say there are major issues that have been ignored, including law breaking by the Board of Elections in both districts. News 2's Erica Bivens has details.
According to VI Code in Chapter 23, Section 629, any candidate can call for a recount up to 7 working days after the election has been certified. But because of Thanksgiving, Deputy Supervisor of Elections Mabel Maduro says today is actually the last day to submit a challenge regarding the general election. And several former candidates showed up at the Board of Elections office this afternoon to hand-deliver theirs.
We're here this afternoon to submit our petition for a recount per law and a new election.
Well, I'm filing a petition for recount, and there's several instances of challenges that I have in my recount documents where there was indication of wrongdoing and different procedures that were violated.
I did it for the primary. I challenged the primary. There was no response. I'm challenging the general election also, and I don't believe that we have come to a conclusion yet of the election system.
In their challenges, candidates allege fraud and even cite specific laws they thought were violated. However, after the board certified the results November 21st, they adjourned sine die, which means
there's nothing else to come before the board until January 6th when the new board is sworn into office.
However, Maduro told News 2 she will be accepting challenges until 5 o'clock today, and then
those challenges would be delivered to the chair of the district board.
If a petition for a recount is filed, the board must decide within 3 days whether a recount will take place. If the board decides in favor of a recount, it shall be held within 10 days of the petition filing, and the recount must be public. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Now, if the board decides not to grant the recount by law, they must give reasons why. The aggrieved candidate may also appeal their case to the district court within 5 days on the board's decision, which can also render a decision. Police say a St. Croix woman was struck by gunfire in both legs by a suspect after she refused to hand over her car keys. Police were notified of the robbery at about 8:30 p.m. November 30th. The 24-year-old female victim said she was going to her car in the parking lot of LeGrand Manor in LeGrand Princess when a man dressed in all black with a black bandana covering his face approached her. The suspect brandished a gun and asked her for her car keys. The victim refused, and the suspect fired several shots. The victim was then struck by gunfire in both legs. The suspect fled the area on foot. She was taken to the Juan F. Louis Hospital for treatment. Anyone who knows anything about this case is asked to call detectives at 712-6037, 712-6077, or you can call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. The VI Police Department says that no additional information will be released at this time regarding a suspicious death that police have been investigating since November 23rd. That was when, according to police, a private vehicle brought a person into the Juan Louis Hospital who was unresponsive. The police department says that the case has been classified as a murder, but as of Monday, the cause of death had not been determined. It adds that detectives are pursuing all leads at this time to bring this case to a conclusion. News 2 will keep you updated. The Coast Guard has ended its search for a missing cruise ship passenger that was reported missing last week Thursday. According to the Coast Guard, 42-year-old Jason Gregory Rapp from Washington went missing early Thursday morning from the cruise ship Eurodam, approximately 80 nautical miles northwest of Puerto Rico. The cruise line reported to the Coast Guard that the wife of the missing passenger, who was alerted, the crew of the Eurodam, of her husband's disappearance. The Coast Guard and rescue crews searched more than 2,000 miles for over 36 hours and never found the missing passenger. The Division of Coastal Zone Management will hold a public hearing for Coral World's dolphin swim experience next week Thursday. The hearing will be held at Eudorican High School at 7 p.m. According to Coral World, the project is estimated to cost $7 million and will bring 6 to 10 bottlenose dolphins to the territory. But one group remains opposed to the plans and has been collecting signatures to stop the project from opening, tentatively set for December 2013. Again, that hearing is set for Thursday, December 13th at 7 p.m. at Eudorican. While the long-awaited Christiansted bypass is almost complete, some utility customers on St. Croix East End experienced scheduled power outages this weekend to allow for work necessary to help finish the last phase of the bypass project. News 2's Erica Parsons has more on the progress.
Maybe as soon as 2 weeks from now, St. Croix motorists will have an alternate route through Christiansted when heading to and from the east side.
It's safe to say that within the next 2 weeks, maybe 3, we should be at that point where we're probably going to be scheduling a ribbon cutting ceremony.
It's good news for residents who've been waiting for several years for the project to be complete. The Christiansted bypass would do just that, allow motorists to bypass the often congested downtown Christiansted traffic. The original plans date back to 1975, but construction didn't actually start until 2007. Originally, the bypass was slated to be finished last month, but the project encountered unexpected challenges.
What we found was that the plan as it was designed on paper didn't quite fit in actuality what the layout that was on the ground. So we had to actually go back and get a right of entry for 2 properties. We received those right of entries to be able to go ahead and acquire the strip that would be necessary to actually complete the widening that was needed. Of course, the poles, the existing utility poles that were there needed to be moved back, and that's the work that you see that's being completed right now by WAPA and Innovative.
On Monday, construction crews worked on the finishing touches that would bring the bypass another step closer to being open. Erica Parsons, News 2.
The project has taken 4 phases to complete and comes at a price tag of more than $36 million in federal funding to this point. Division of Personnel officials continued their holiday giving Monday, stopping at the Human Services on St. Croix to distribute Kmart gift cards to employees who've completed their health risk assessments. Human Services were among the top 5 agencies to do so. Personnel Director Kenneth Herman says they'll be making the rounds until December 21st.
I still have roughly $20,000 more to give away. I have not even broken the halfway point, and I would love to, at the end of the day, report to Cigna, report to the Health Insurance Board, and especially the governor that I have expended all of my money and I need more money for next year. At the end of the day, it is a benefit to that member directly as it relates to their premiums and to the taxpayers of the Virgin Islands as it relates to reduced health insurance costs or taxes that they would have to pay to cover the government of the Virgin Islands health insurance costs.
And turn our attention stateside. In Washington, Democrats and Republicans appear nowhere near a compromise to avoid the fiscal cliff. The deadline is at the end of the month, but lawmakers may only have a couple of weeks to get a deal done. Danielle Nottingham reports from Washington.
Washington is driving toward the fiscal cliff, and with just 29 days left, negotiations are at a stalemate.
Right now, I would say we're nowhere.
Taxes continue to be the line in the sand between Democrats and Republicans.
There's no path to an agreement. It does not involve Republicans acknowledging that rates have to go up for the wealthiest.
GOP lawmakers don't want higher rates and say the Obama administration's proposed cuts to entitlements don't go nearly far enough.
I think we're going over the cliff. It's pretty clear to me they've made a political calculation. This offer doesn't remotely deal with entitlement reform in a way to save Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security from imminent bankruptcy.
If a deal is not reached, taxes will go up and spending will be slashed, including massive cuts to the defense budget. Defense contractors meeting inside this building are sending the message to lawmakers those cuts would damage their industry and weaken national security. David Langstaff is CEO of Task, a company that develops aviation systems and software for intelligence agencies.
Over 50% of the defense budget is procuring services, and services are underscored by jobs. So, of course, there will be job loss if you have cuts.
The cliff hits at the end of the year, but congressional leaders say a compromise needs to be figured out in the next couple of weeks so lawmakers have enough time to debate and pass it. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
And keeping our eye on the economy, Wall Street is getting mixed signals on the health of the economy. A survey shows U.S. manufacturing shrank in November to its lowest level in more than 3 years. The impact of Superstorm Sandy and worries about automatic tax increases that could take effect next month reduced factory orders and manufacturing jobs. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. Everything down. The Dow 59, NASDAQ 8, S&P 6. Coming up on News 2, St. Thomas played host this weekend to the first annual Explorers Invitational Baseball Tournament, where teams from Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, and St. Croix competed in preparation for the upcoming Little League season. That's coming up in sports. Plus, a St. Croix princess has been crowned. Highlights of the show and a schedule of events lined up for the St. Croix Festival celebration. Well, the good news is that gas prices aren't going up, but they're not going down either. According to Havenza, the price of regular gas will stay at $3.43. The price of premium will stay at $3.73, and the price of diesel will stay at $3.68. The prices also include a 14-cent per gallon gas tax. The territory continues to remember and mourn former police commissioner Anton Christian, who passed away last week. According to Government House, Christian began working in the law enforcement in 1968 in St. Croix and rose up the ranks quickly until he was promoted to chief of police in 1985. Christian became commissioner in 1993 and served in that position until 1995. Governor John DeYoung Jr. directed for flags to be flown at half-staff on all public buildings last week Friday through sunset on the day of Christian's interment. The Christian festival spirit can definitely be felt as the festival committee have officially kicked off their 60th anniversary activities with the crowning of its festival Duchess and Princess. Over the next month, St. Croix will hold its annual activities and even some new events that committee members anticipate will make the 60th anniversary one to remember. News 2's Janisha John brings us more.
The holiday spirit is in the air as the territory gears up for what's slated to be the grandest celebration in Crucian history, the 60th year of festival.
It have to be special. It's a 60 years. 60 years of festival. As you know, we just passed our Princess and Duchess show that we had December 2nd at the complex. That was a real great success. I mean, it was something to see.
The crowning of Duchess Kayla Nesbitt and Princess Markima Cargyle kicked off the festival events. But officials say there's lots of new additions to this year's activities, starting with the former royalty attending this year's Miss St. Croix contest.
You're going to be seeing a lot of your past queens. That's something you're not going to see usually. We have about maybe like 30 queens, some flying in, some are here. You have the mini village that we have Mid-Island, that's something new. So again, that's the next venue that we're looking at to see if it will be a success, and if it is, how we can incorporate it all the time throughout festivals.
From the 3 village sites, former royalty, to the anticipated entertainment, the committee expects the festivities to be something everyone can enjoy.
We have accomplished a lot. People have been loving what's taking place, and we have always tried to just be better than last year. Entertainment is going to be really, really, really crazy, from the smallest band to the biggest band, to make sure everybody can take part in our 60th, because the 60th is not just for a certain elite group or a certain set of people. It's for everybody that represents St. Croix.
A festival that the committee hopes will not only be a memorable one, but also a safe one.
We want to make sure people feel safe. It's going to be a family-oriented event. Zero tolerance for violence. And like I said, we will make sure we'll be visual, and we're going to make sure that we keep this place safe and all the families can come and enjoy it.
Janisha John, News 2.
The Christian Christmas Festival Committee wants to remind everyone of this year's 60th anniversary events. The next event will be Miss St. Croix at 5 p.m. on Sunday, December 9th at Island Center. The committee then celebrates the opening of the Christiansted Mini Village from December 21st to the 23rd. Then the Mid-Island Mini Village from December 25th to the 26th, followed by the opening of the Frederiksted Village. That's from December 27th to the last lap on January 6th. For more information on these events, you can go to www.stxfestival.com. And many call it the official kickoff to the Christmas season here in St. Thomas. The official lighting of the large Havenside Mall Christmas trees coming up on Wednesday, December 5th from 5:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's honoring Edward Thomas. Now, lots of entertainment lined up this year from E. Benjamin Oliver Band, Joseph Sibley, Lockhart School Elementary Band, CAHS Marching Band, a mini parade, carolers, and much, much more. The tree lighting will kick off around 6 p.m. And now the first 1,000 children will receive gifts and, of course, catch up with Santa. Now you can tune in right here on CBS TV2. We will take you to Havenside Mall for all the fun from 6:30 to 7 p.m. Then at 7, tune in to News 2 for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.